It's Sunday Slot Car Fun one more time. We're being joined by a very special guest today, my dog, Rosie, the Wonder Dog, as I refer to her. From time to time, always at my side. Nothing beats a good dog. Nothing. Today, we are going to talk about what I've done to this track, and the shot's very wide right now, and I don't know if you're watching it on a big screen, then you would see that things are different. I used to have a barrier over here and guardrail, and the problem was when you come through this turn, you could not at all drift in any way, shape, or form, or you smack the car's butt into the wall or the guardrail. And so I opened it up like this and filled in between it, and over here I did the same thing. And now you can go through there very smoothly. I still have some more adjustments to the track I want to make, and I'll show you close up here in a second what I mean. You know, I've always wanted one of these. Never got one. I've had just about every car there is. Well, sports car wise, especially 60s and 70s era, but I never got a 2002. And if I had my way, I would get one. Except that I have the Z, and there's no room at my studio for another car. Although my mechanic, Manny Rodriguez, a very good friend who has an incredible shop full of really neat cars within walking distance of my studio, offered to let me keep another car there should I get one. So I'm, considering a few. I'm considering another Spitfire because I used to have one when I was a kid. Loved it. Always broken, but loved it. The other one I consider is MGB. Broken less, but also broken quite often. Loved it. And then there's the 914. Now, the one I had was a 1.6 or whatever it was. I've always wanted to get a 2.0. I was rather shocked at the prices that glorified Volkswagen are going for, but there was something really cool about that car. And so we'll see what happens over the next year or so. Maybe I'll get in a position where I can get one. I'd like it. It'd be nice because it's a 914, and, German engineering versus British engineering. I would drive the 914 to San Francisco and back. I would be a bit concerned driving a British sports car, especially an older one, up there and back. So, or any distance like that. So, Mary said, if you get an old sports car, get something that if you need to, you can drive it. So that's what I'm thinking. But I digress. We're supposed to be talking about slot cars, although, full-size cars, slot cars, they have a relationship, don't they? So what I want to talk about today, and I'm knocking over guardrails and stuff because I'm not quite done with the track yet. I'm thinking of, well, I'll show you in a second. Here is, of course, the Cooper. And the Cooper, this is the test car. This one's been banged on, beat on, experimented on, knocked the windshield loose a few times. How do you attach this? How do you attach that? And I put in one of Mark Tyler's. I'm still not awake yet today. I put in one of Mark Tyler's immense miniatures, drivers, and I kind of posed him so that he looks like he's got his arm up on top of the wheel and he's in action driving, and it really breathes a lot of life into this car. Of course, I got the decals on it and everything, and so everything's been test fitted and tried, and I even put the the intake cover on it. I cut one off one of the other bodies. So now I'm going to build one that is a hero car. In other words, I'm going to do a magnificent job on it, a real sterile, clean job on the car, from the production mold, and have that car as a showpiece and occasional drive on the track. And then I'm going to build a second one, and I'm going to put it up for sale, signed by me, the author of the scratch build. So we're going to take a closer look at that in a second. So I want to show you the track and what I've done with the track and what I'm about to do with the track, because I think I always take an interest in people when they're working on their tracks. I love seeing what they do with them, the creativity behind it. And I was going to build a new wooden table for this, and then found I didn't need to, that the water heater can be replaced without removing this, and that the termite control we had done didn't require I move this either. So we're gonna let it stay as is for now. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So we're handheld on the big heavy camera. So it's not something light to carry because this is a pro camera, 4K, studio quality, yada, 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 but it does have good stabilization. So this is the area that I worked on that originally had the barriers up. Oh yes, and that reminds me, I should show you the tire barriers too. And this area has been filled in over here. We're okay on this turn over here past the Iron Giant because it does widen a bit. By the time we get here, it's straight enough that we don't hit the wall. We're fine here. You know, we got borders there. And over here we got the borders too. But that's right there. That's the nasty spot. I hate that spot. And what I'm considering doing is disconnecting here, right at that line there, and over there, and turning this whole section here around the other way. Now, of course, that's going to mean losing Stonehenge or relocating it, and probably the pond. But I can't stand, oh, the stag is drunk again. Darn thing, stand up. Anyway, too much beer in the water. So I may have to come over the pond. I already am a little bit, so, or just lose it altogether. But I don't like a course that is anything but smooth, and you really need to be able to drift a bit there. I don't use magnets, so the car will hit there if I'm at any speed whatsoever. Down here, we're all fine. Here's the Cooper. The tires, I'm always saying it, but it's true. The tires get dirty really fast when you're working on a track, and the track is filthy as this is. So the car really doesn't want to stick in there. But boy, doesn't it look neat on the track. Let's see if I can zoom in. Yeah, driving with my left hand, because I'm right-handed, and shooting with this heavy camera are quite challenging. You might have noticed this, and this is a Fly Porsche 917. Whatever they use for their tires, it's wonderful. Even when they're dirty, they stick good. I love this car. But we're talking about the Cooper, and as I talk about the Cooper here a bit, you'll see pictures of how this was made, how I carved foam and used templates to carve the foam to the template, and then I used a thin fiberglass cloth and epoxy resin, West Systems in fact, and epoxy the basic form, and then made a mold on that and tooled a product from that mold by hand, and made another mold on that, and then tooled the product that came from the second mold so I could make a third mold which produced the production body that has the core in it. It's a lot of steps to go through. It's a very enjoyable process. And if you've never tried it, I highly recommend it. One of the things I hope you can see here is the, let me put it over here into some light, are these wonderful John Warren made inserts, mini lights. He made the wheels and he made the tires. Just incredible work, John. There, they're painted black. Originally I was going to make them white because some people have. I'm very happy with the end result to this car. It is just a terrific little car and a real piece of history that I enjoyed building a great deal. So that was it for this Sunday Slot Car Fun. I hope you enjoyed the show. I sure enjoyed doing them, and I love your comments. I love your enthusiasm about it all. And many of you have been discovering my long Hollywood career by visiting my channel and seeing all the other things I do besides slot cars. And you've left some wonderful comments. We're up to 4,080 something subscribers now. I haven't got a single mean or nasty comment. Not that you'd see it because they're always held for review, but it doesn't matter. Not one person has said anything derogatory or mean, and you're really an incredible group of people. You mean a lot to me, and I really appreciate all the likes, the views, and the comments and the support. To some of you have been sending money to buy me a coffee and things like that. So we really, really appreciate you. I really appreciate you. Mary appreciates you. And we'll see you next week for more Sunday Slot Car Fun.